Domino. Woo-hoo. This is the Hitway BK17, a very, very nice looking Super 73 style. And I say Super 73 style, like it actually looks like one of the Super 73s, mopedy, cafe racer, whatever you want to call it, style e-bike. It's got 2 decent sized batteries and a very nice saddle. But let's find out, is it any good? Welcome to the e-VRC, and this is the Hitway BK17, and it is one of those cool cafe racer, Super 73, whatever you call them, style e-bikes, and I'm quite liking this actually. Let me tell you a few things about it then. It's a 250 watt rated motor. It's got a max speed which isn't specified on the website, but it does come locked to 15.5 miles per hour. It is easily unlocked to a maximum of about 23 with no load, and I seem to be getting about 19-ish, which isn't a bad speed. Probably my ideal e-bike speed, 19 to 20 miles per hour. 15 always seems a bit slow. I quite like 20. It's got no throttle, because they do want to sell it as like a legal e-bike. They're saying it's 250 watts, no throttle. 15.5 miles an hour. So let's see how we take off, see how fast the cadence sensor kicks in. So off we go, and it's give us power fairly instant. It's not too bad. Now it's not shooting us off at mega speed or anything. There's 3 assist levels and I am in 3. And we've got to that bit where the road gets very bumpy. Our first test of the suspension. This has got front suspension, but no rear suspension. I'm trying to get all those potholes now. On the website, do be careful though. It does say they've got rear suspension as well, but there is not rear suspension. It is a carbon steel frame with no suspension. I'm talking about that carbon steel because it's carbon steel. When you unpack it, well, let's see what it's like really quick when you unpack it. Big box. Packing, make your own mind up. Right, it was pretty well packed. All over it is all this black residue that kind of fell on my arm as I brought the bike out, and it kind of gets everywhere, like sand.
I don't like sand.
In the box, we've got 2 2-amp chargers, which will charge up to 13 ampere batteries in about 6.5 hours. Thank you for giving us 2. We've got some nice metal pedals, we've got some tools with a crap thing, a Hitway pump, and a lock. On the top of here, there's these little things to go inside the Allen bolts. They're a bit manky. They've definitely seen better days. I'm not sure what's happened to them. From Mudguard. Now, if you don't like using electric screwdrivers, this right angle ratchet I got for Christmas from Jess, thanks Jess, is really cool. Although at the moment it's undoing it rather than doing it up. But there it is. Get the pedals on. So it's been a pretty straightforward build. Just got to put the front wheel on. However, there was no fork protector. Also, both tyres were fully deflated, like absolutely fully. So I had to put them on properly. Also had to move the tyre around, so that wasn't totally bent. And it's all together, not too bad, but there's black dust everywhere, if you can see that. And the 2 batteries are charging. I would definitely recommend putting it together outside. So yeah, even though it doesn't have rear suspension, it feels pretty comfortable. This road is horrible. It's the kind of road you want suspension on, but because it's got those big 20-inch, 4-inch wide fat tyres that have run at low PSI, it's all pretty comfortable anyway. I'm not that bothered about having suspension on a big fat tyre e-bike. The front suspension is not lockable either, so it's always there, which is a shame. It's nice to be able to just lock it off if you know you're just going to be on flat roads. So here we are at the hill climb, and this bike has 70 Newton meters of torque. 3, 2, 1, go. So I've got a pedal because there's no throttle, but because it's a cadence sensor, as soon as it detects me turning the pedals, it will give us 100% of the power, no matter how hard or how weak I pedal. So we're going all right now. The GPS has already been used to check the computer, and it does give accurate speed readings. It's not going too bad. Is it going to fail? So 70 Newton meters is quite a lot. Now remember, I am pedaling, but I'm not helping. Now most bikes don't really like doing this. It's going okay. It's not too bad. It looks like it's going to make it up. Hovering at 6.5, 6.6, 6.7, it's gradually going up. Now it's got two batteries, this bike, both 13 amp hours, 48 volts, and they kind of act as one battery, one big battery, but you can charge them separately. As you saw, you got two chargers with this, which is nice. They're 2 amp chargers, but because you can charge them both separately, it's kind of like, and across the line. So made it up. That's not too bad. Not amazing, but not bad at all, I don't think. It never felt like it was going to stop. I reckon it was probably about 120. Anyway, as I was saying, because you can charge 2 batteries at the same time, it's kind of like you've got a 26 amp hour battery and a 4 amp charger. But it's also nice that you can be charging one battery whilst using the other. With the 2 batteries, they say they've got a range of 50 to 95 miles. It's horrible today. We got storm Iowin. Obviously where I am, we've just got like the tail of it. I think that's what people say when it's kind of windy, but other people have got it way worse. No indicators on this bike, which means I should really be sticking my hands out. I am guilty of not doing that sometimes. So turn the lights on by holding up the plus button, but you might notice that the rear light was already on. So if I turn the lights off again, you'll see that the back light is still on. And that back light, I think, is meant to be a brake light because both lights are wired in, but when you pull the brake, nothing happens, I'm guessing because it's already on. But the brakes do work and the brakes still cut out the motor, so there's no problems there. But it's a nice looking bike, this. It's not like totally unique in terms of these Super 73 style bikes. It's got your standard BMX style handlebars, a nice long saddle, which I like, and it looks long enough that if you needed to, you could take a passenger. If you were taking a kid, it's probably best, obviously, as long as they're related to you, to keep them in front. You could have, like, you know, up to about a 9-year-old there, and that'd be quite enjoyable. I wouldn't put them on the back because then you're requiring them to hold on. If you were taking an older friend on the back, that could be done. I think there's a look, you can hold on at the back of the seat, but you would then be crunched up like that, which isn't ideal because this is a non-adjustable saddle, of course. And as you can see, my legs are coming up a bit. When I'm on it, 5'9", my feet are touching the ground on a bit of a tiptoe. So if that's acceptable, I'd say if you're as short as 5'6"-ish, you could just about ride this. You probably see me riding it, my knees go quite high. So if you've got longer legs, you probably wouldn't want to ride this, especially without a throttle. I'd say over 6 foot, you're gonna struggle pedaling this bike because you're gonna look a bit clowny. Domino, woo-hoo. Similar to the Evercross EK30, in terms of to set the highest speed, you've got to go into the computer speed settings by holding up and down, and then set the speed at 67 miles per hour, I think, and then it unlocks 23 miles an hour. However, it's still locked at 23. Now, this being a fat Tyre e-bike, it's not going to be nice to pedal past it, so I'm pedaling now, and we're still going 23. It's not really doing that much. It's got 7-speed Shimano Tawny gears. The brakes are mechanical disc brakes, and I don't think the rear brake is adjusted quite as well as I would like. Oh God. Right, I fell off here a few weeks ago. If you want to check that, check out the LE20 review. So let's go slow around here. Tell you what, let's just go no power for a bit. Let's get them, I'm gonna go no power. So I've got no power now. Let's see what it's like. I'm in second gear. 11.8 miles an hour, not the fastest, but it's pedalable. If you ran out of power or something, you could do it. I wouldn't want to do it for a long time, but faster than walking, definitely. Yeah, it's a comfortable bike, this. I actually, even though I'm kind of a bit too big for it, I love this kind of style of bike, like just jumping on and riding off. It's really cool and just feels really nice. Ideally, you'd have a throttle. Usually there's a little connector that's been capped off. If you can dig that out, you can just put a throttle on it. But I like that they've gone for this kind of legal setup, very similar to the EK30, the Evercross. That is big competition for this bike. And they're very, very similar. And I think a lot of it, whether you choose that bike or this bike, is going to come down to which one you like the look of. This one very much looks like one of the Super 73 bikes, whereas the Evercross was really unique, the way it looks, and it was, you know, it's one of our bikes of the 2024. They're struggling to get past this. I wonder where they're going, but I'm obviously easily keeping up with this slow traffic, probably helping the battery out. It's got front mud guards and rear mud guards, nice solid metal mud guards, but they're not clanging around. Sometimes I don't like metal mud guards because they clang around. They seem alright. The front light is nice and bright, LED, nice hand grips. They've got like the flared bits. They're not the expensive lock-on ones, but they're alright. It's got a little bell. I like the little bell actually. It's like a strip bell. And the screen looks very nice. Very visible in this light. It's not the brightest, but I can tell that it's a visible type screen because I've seen a lot of them. It's got a nice chunky stand and nice metal solid pedals. The chain guard is double-sided, which is nice. I do need to do a brake test. I think the brakes are going to probably let it down, but it's a nice place to be, providing you're not too big for it. The battery's been hovering between 4 and 5 bars. When it kicks in, it goes to 4 bars. At the moment, I've done 4 miles. And there we're going 23 miles an hour again, and it's not going past that, although I've got a feeling. I've turned off my GPS now. Maybe I'll turn it back on again. Put that in my pocket. I think that the speedo actually stops at 23, so you never see above it. Go on, let's try and get a bit faster, see if I can get... That'll do. Let's do this tree. We're going 20. Going about 20. Oh, little skid. There is the tree. It's about 2.5 meters. Yeah, just kicking pretty soon this. Let's see if I can pick up this bike and how easy is it to get the batteries on now. The bike is about 40 kilograms. Not really a good place to hold it. I wouldn't want to take it up a flight of stairs. It's a bit awkward. Whew. So it comes with a key for each battery. So you get 4 keys in total. And what I've done is I've put one of each battery on each loop. So I've got a spare loop back at home for these. And then I've got this loop which has a key for both. That's the charge port. Well, let's do the top one first. That comes out straight away. Slide it forward. The battery is released. And there is a 13 amp hour battery. You've got to put it up in the right place. So you want it level with the plastic and then push it down, slide it in, and then lock it into place. And now to prove that they can both come off and they don't get in the way of each other, let's just do the other one. Slide it up, take it out, put it back in again, push it down, take the key out. You do not need the keys to run the bike, which usually I don't like, but at least it's easy to remove the batteries and you don't have to crack the bike open to get to them. 26, there we go. So it does go over 23 with pedalling, but it just doesn't want to tell you that. So I'm going to carry on testing this bike. I will do more miles on it, but so far I am enjoying this bike in the same way that I enjoyed that Evercross bike. So keep watching and I'll talk about how far we got. So I've just got back from filming and it's hovering between 2 and 3 bars. I've done 12 miles, but obviously with the dual battery, that's not that good really, is it? They do seem to work together and they do have a little meter. So when you press that, you can see that it's nearly full. So I was wondering if it was only measuring one of the batteries. Both batteries do work at the same time. So if I did the same to this top battery, it's being used as well. So yeah, I'm going to do a bit more riding and see what happens. So I've gone out, I've put another 5 miles on, so I've just done over 17 miles now. I've also swapped the batteries over. Now both batteries are reading 4 out of 5 lights still. However, I do feel that the last light carries a lot more weight than the previous lights. The computer is still 2 bars, and it was going down to 1 bar, so whereas before at 12 miles it's hovering between 2 and 3, now it's hovering between 1 and 2. It's on 17 miles, 2 bars. I feel that it is actually reflecting how much capacity is left. It's still running well. It's probably going to give me about 25 miles, which you might think for a dual battery isn't that good, but when you consider that they said it was 50 to 90 miles, assuming you're not going to unlock it, and most of my miles have been unlocked miles going at 23, which does run down the battery a lot faster than going at 15.5. Also, being heavy, it's cold, things like that. I think 25 miles, getting half of what they say when it's unlocked, isn't too bad, and considering the price is about 1,000, and most dual battery bikes are like 1,500, then for decent performance, 25 miles, that's not too bad at all. And also you can fully disconnect one battery and leave it at home and run on either battery in either position. But weirdly, when you take one battery off, the battery meter on the computer doesn't change. If you would like to purchase this bike, there is a link in the description. It is an affiliate link, which means if you were to use that link, it will take you to Hitway's website, just as any other link would. However, it tracks that it was my link that you pressed, and we will get a little bit of commission, which helps this channel a lot and allows us to keep on making these videos for you. So if you did use that, I'd very much appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video or you got something from it, do hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, thumb us down. As always, I want your feedback. Tell me how I could be better. And until next time, ride safe.